Hi. I was thinking, I had a conversation with a young lady, beautiful young lady, very bright, very articulate. She's working on her master's degree right now. She's about to graduate. And she said to me, I don't want to ever have children. And me knowing this person all her life, I could understand why she would feel that way. She watched her mother struggle with very patriarchal men who had narcissistic tendencies, or very patriarchal men who were, subtly abusive, whether that be emotionally, financially, or physically. She watched this power struggle unfold throughout her lifetime. And she watched her mother bear the responsibility and the load of the children while the men were able to go after their dreams and goals and success. And she said, you know what? No, I'm not having children, because if I marry someone and this is what they expect from me, then I don't want a marriage. And I said, there's like movements all around the world of women refusing to be in relationship with men, refusing marriage and refusing to have children. And after suffering all that I suffered, I can see why. I can see how the expectation of me as a woman to bear the full responsibility of the children, meaning I have to adjust my work schedule. I have to take part-time schedules instead of full-time schedules. I have to accommodate all the children's care and needs, right? Which takes up most of my time. So I don't really have time to focus on a career. And if anything should go wrong, it's me that has to call into work. It's me that has to pick up the kids from school. It's me that has to go to the doctor's appointments. It's me that has to readjust the schedule because, the child is having difficulties. Not him. And he never stood up to say, let me help you with that. In his mind, it was I. I need to be at work. I need to be progressive. I need to make money. I need to build my career. You, the mother, needs to make all the sacrifices. And that's what I did. So because I had to be the one that was taking on the full responsibility and the daily load and care of the children, my career was destroyed. After I graduated from nursing school and I started working in the field as a rehabilitative nurse, I was doing really well and I was making good money, but I could only work part-time. And then the company started going through changes and they needed me to work full-time. And I could not. There was no way I could say yes. I said, I can give you another day, but I have to conform to my husband's schedule because that's what was expected of me. And so my opportunities dwindled away and dried up, and people began to get frustrated and aggravated with me because I could not be fully present as a regular full-time nurse. And, in a way I understand it, and in a way I feel like, well, if you're giving me difficulties because I can't work full-time, I understand why you want me here. You want me here because when I'm here, things go smoothly. I get that. But if I can't be here because I have to care for my children, there was like no respect for the fact that I had a family, that I had children, that, the job doesn't care about you and your family, especially if you're melanated. Yeah, I said that. So I ended up having to resign from my position, to make a long story short, and it stunted my nursing career. It did. big time. And so it wasn't only that, you know, when I first entered this marriage, I had my own everything. My own house, my own car, my own career. You see what I'm saying? My own income. I was making my own decisions. But I noticed this marriage over time made me more and more and more codependent. Because once the child was born, I was then now becoming more dependent on my husband. And then once workplaces put more pressure on me for more time and more effort, and I couldn't meet those standards, I would end up getting laid off or losing my job. And so that also made me more codependent, because now I'm depending on my husband to take care of everything financially. So I went from being very independent to being codependent. In society, in the workplace, I put such pressure and demand on me that it kind of forced me into this codependent existence. And that was fine for a patriarchal man, because that is exactly where he wanted me. And this is what I don't like about marriages today. Marriages today are not really supportive of a woman who is empowered, a woman who is independent, a woman independent in a healthy way. Now, I'm not talking about any toxicity, but there are some women that are born leaders, and they can never reach their full potential by being your housewife. This is what I'm trying to say. This is what I don't like about marriage. I feel like it stunted my growth. That's what I feel. And that's what I see. Because I went from having everything on my own to now being codependent on this man, with this man, and then him demanding to have all control and make all decisions because he made all the money. It's not healthy. And then some women, I think they feel guilty, like, oh, he worked so hard, so I should just adjust to what he wants. And it's kind of like, no. Just like you respect him as an individual and you want him to grow and you want him to do well, he should be respecting you as an individual and wanting you to grow and wanting you to do well. But when I look at his culture and when I was observing in his country, I can see women had no rights. Women didn't even have ID. Women couldn't leave their compounds without permission. Women were totally restricted. And when you look at the bloodlines there, what you'll find is that women are spiritually exploited for all of their spiritual powers, gifts, talents, and abilities. And they never even know it.